Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for watching another video of mine. Maybe it's because you found another one to be interesting or something. Maybe this is the first one you've seen. Hopefully there are lots more to come after this. Perhaps you found one that you like and looking back through. Yeah, so this is the second video. Again, to remind everyone, I'm going through my vinyl record collection one at a time. Well, I've been thinking about it. I might group some together a bit later on. We're at number 2. First one was Arcade Fire Funeral, which is their debut album, their first album, or full-length LP at least. And the second one that I just listened to is, our second one for me, not their second album, is the Reflektor album. As far as the artwork and everything goes, it's really, really neat. You can probably see it's reflective. It's got a neat gatefold in through there. You probably can't tell, but it's got all the names of the tracks kind of in through here. Backside, kind of neat. It's meant to be a compact disc through there. And then even the inside sleeves are really, really neat. I believe the Reflektors was meant to be like a fake band for their single. I think it came like this, or very similar to that. And then on the backside it has the track list and I think the words. Looks like the lyrics, and then same thing, very similar. This is for the second disc, and all the tracks on the backside there too. One of my favorite albums. I really, really like it. I know most folks they're purists. They like the original. They like Funeral, or they might like Neon Bible, which is the second album. Or Suburbs, which is a very, very good album as well, which is their third, and I guess this is their fourth full-length record LP. But I really, really liked it. One of the reasons is I got into Arcade Fire much more right around when this album came out, which I think was around 2013 or so. That's when I first got my first turntable, my first record player. I guess my first as an adult. I had one when I was a really young kid, and then somewhere grew out of it with tapes and CDs and such. But so this might have been, let's see, maybe one of the first 10 or 15 or 20 albums I bought as a new album. I got this one at Bull Moose as well. I got the last one, Funeral at Bull Moose in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I listened to it a lot when it first came out. I really, really liked it. I don't think I had bought it until a few months after it had come out. They played, Arcade Fire played on Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. And what song did they play? I think it was Afterlife. And instead of playing in that like little like stage area in the back, they were on like the whole bottom floor next to like where the roots usually are. And it was just really, really neat. I was like, oh man, I gotta get this album. So I got it. I think I got it after that, but I remember thinking like, hey, this album, I got to see him in concert. So we saw him on this tour, which was right around the time of me and my wife's 7th anniversary or so, down close to Foxborough, one of those outdoor venues. Really, really neat kind of seats there, and it was a big venue, big stage, but they had these mirrors that came down, which made it like much more intimate, or it seemed like you're at a smaller venue and you turn around and I mean there's lots of people. There's a big lawn up in the back, so that was really, really neat. So I'm not sure that this album's better than any of their others, but to me there's just a lot more memories that go along with it, which is it's really neat. As far as the play went, it's very interesting. Now that again I'm listening more for how well it sounds, what's the imaging and stereo separation and all of that. I would say it sounds better than the Funeral I have. which is interesting because I would have, I always thought that was like a better recorded album. It might just be the vinyl I have. The first disc on this was pretty noisy, and it was somewhat veiled. It was almost like the music was like in the speakers. I know it's a weird way to think of it, but because of course it is, or it's coming out of the speakers, but it still has stereo separation, but the imaging just wasn't there. And the second disc, it was like so much different. It's really, really neat. So I think that the way they designed this, as far as setting up the songs and everything, I think it was designed knowing that, or composed, or whatever, planned, however you want to call it, knowing that the first disc was its own thing and the second disc was its own thing. They even have a similar song, Here Comes the Nighttime, Part 2, which starts off the second disc, and then it goes into Awful Sound, It's Never Over. I don't quite know how to pronounce it, Orpheus, and the other, which I believe are some Greek mythology thing. I should probably have looked it up beforehand, but anyway, so it's the two songs, and then the lead singer, Wynn, and his wife, Regine, I think her name is, they're kind of singing to each other at the end, and they say the opposite names. It's really, really neat. And again, or disc 2 just sounded much better. Stereo separation was better. The imaging was better. It didn't seem veiled. I did notice that the drums are like in the background the whole time. I really like, I don't want them in the foreground, but I want to be able to hear the snare. I want to be able to hear the cymbals and such, but the other instruments are coming in really, really well. Afterlife sounded great. I mean, Supersymmetry is great. It just kind of like fades out. And I didn't remember, but there's like a bonus track or hidden track. I don't know if it's on, I don't know if I ever listened to this on CD, probably just streaming, or download. I'd have to check and see if it's on there. But it's just like, it's a full album. Like you listen to it, it pulls you in, it brings you kind of up and down, different emotions. Assuming I took a look at the lyrics and actually analyzed them, I'm sure it's got some really neat meaning. I think the Reflektor has something to do, the theme, something to do with like living your life, like on a screen. It's just like a reflection of yourself, or a mirror image of yourself, rather than it being the real you. I could be wrong, but some really neat themes in here. Porno, the name of the song, Porno, which is on the last side of the second disc. Amazing, sounded great. Not my favorite song on the album, but I think it was the best sounding one on here, which is really, really neat. So yeah, that's the way it sounded. I don't know if there's much else to share. That's the story. It's where I got it, how I got into the band. I haven't bought any albums after this until just recently, which is the next video, which you guys will see. And I'm super excited to show you guys that, because that has a nice story as well that goes along to it. That album means a lot to me, just as far as like times in my life and stuff. So I'll share some more about that. But otherwise, this is Arcade Fire, Reflektor. Thanks for watching. Assuming anyone has made it this far in this video and cares at all. I'm happy to do these videos. I'm happy to share. One more thing I want to share is I listened to or watch The Audiophiliac, who's Steve Guttenberg, who I read when he was on CNET. He does reviews for audio equipment and such. And the last few videos he's actually had Arcade Fire. He'll say, oh, I was listening to this and it sounded like this, I was listening to that, I tried these new speakers or whatever. And he even mentioned, he's like, hey, I like the earlier stuff, it got a little bit different, and then every album he said sounds worse and worse. As far as I think sound quality goes, was what he was saying. So I disagree with that as far as the 2 copies I have. Although if he's listening to on CD or something on those masterings, he might be right. But I do like this one. It is my favorite album by Arcade Fire, with close runner-up Funeral, then probably Suburbs, and let's see, Everything Now, and then Neon Bible is happens to be another album they have. But great job. Second half sounds great. Maybe someday they'll remaster it or something, and I'll listen to that. But otherwise, this is my copy. Thanks again for watching and listening. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon.